We're now going to show you how to configure the company profile. The company profile holds settings that controls how the entire salon operates. There are some settings that you will need to configure for the customer, such as the name, number, and address of the business, as well as some of the settings like tax rates and what your employees can do. In the back office, select the company profile. You can change the store number. This is an identifier used to distinguish one salon from another. It is also encoded onto gift and member cards. You should change it to a unique number for each salon. The business name. This is the legal business name. The company name, address, city, state, zip, and phone number will be printed on the receipt. You can also enter a fax number. The federal employee ID number and state employee ID number are for informational purposes. You can set the appointment hours. This is not the business hours. These are the hours that you can take appointments. So you can set a starting hour and an ending hour for each day. And also make sure that each day is selected. You can set a closing time. The closing time is when the business closes and it will start a new business day. We recommend setting this about 2 hours after the business actually closes. This way, it gives them a little time in case they're busier that night. The appointment reminder email template. This is a default template it will use to send appointment email reminders. When you're using the email function and you're manually sending appointment reminders, you can change this message. The happy birthday wish template. This is the template it will use when sending a happy birthday email to any of your customers. With both the email templates, the customer is required to have an email address in their customer profile. And also with the happy birthday template, they'll also require their birthday. Let's go to the database tab. You can choose a language for the point of sale system. The default is set to English. Currently, we only support English and Vietnamese. So if we change it to Vietnamese, exit out of the point of sale system and come back in, everything will be in Vietnamese. We've changed the salon system to Vietnamese. As you can see, all the buttons are in Vietnamese. We're going to go back to the company profile and switch it back to English. We have a backup function in the salon. The backup database folder is the location where it will save a backup copy of the database to. You can select the box, choose a new location to save the backup to, and then press OK. Backup copies. This is how many copies of the backup it will make. So we have it set to 10 copies. That means it will create 10 different copies of the database. It'll create backup copy 1, 2, 3, etc. all the way up to 10. Once it reaches 10, it will go back to backup copy number 1. That means it will overwrite and replace copy number 1, and then keep going. The EDC processor. This is the credit card processor company. We can select the drop-down box and show all the supported processors. Usually it will be First Data or TSYS. The merchant ID. Enter the merchant's ID number here. This will be printed on the receipts. The merchant's terminal ID number can be entered here as well. The broadcast IP. This is almost the same as the computer's IP address, except it ends in 255. If the salon has more than one station, it is used to broadcast information such as when a new ticket has been started, when a new appointment has been created, and also the caller ID information if they have a caller ID device. Keep the broadcast port at 6699. The ticket start number can be left at the default as well. This is the number of the first ticket that is started in each business day. Leave the mask authorization code at the default. MSR name. This is the Opus MSR name. This is used for legacy support. This is not used for USB-based MSR devices. Poll display message. This is the message that will be shown on the poll display if they use one. Queue order. This will affect the salon queue, which manages which technician is next for walk-in customers. We have different ways of managing the queue. FIFO, or first in, first out, also known as round robin, by the service count with the service total as a tiebreaker, and a service total with the service count as a tiebreaker. We'll talk about the queue in more detail later when we talk about the business process for a salon, but this is where you set the salon queue. Amount for one turn. This is the amount it uses to calculate when an employee has finished one turn. We have this set at 15 for our example. This means that if a technician goes up and performs a service for $12, that's not considered one turn. When the technician finishes, they will go back to being first in the queue. The next time this technician goes and performs a service for $3 and up, then it would be considered one turn. That's because the first time they went up, they performed the service for $12, and the second time they went up, they performed the service for $3 or more. That would then meet the minimum for one turn, which is $15. This makes it fair for all technicians, so that each time they go up, they can expect to get at least $15. You can set this to whatever the salon needs. Show appointment prior days. Some salons do not allow their employees to view appointments that are older, so this is where we can set that. So we currently have it set to 2. That means that if an appointment is 3 days or older, it will not be shown on the appointment book. It will only show appointments that are 2 days or newer. Gift card expired months. This is where we set the gift card expiration date. So it's currently set to 12. That is basically 1 year. So if we want it to be set to 2 years, we can set this number to 24. Print payments on receipt. That is to print the payment details. You can leave it at 1. Email appointment reminder prior days. This is how many days before a customer's appointment it will automatically send out an email reminder. The customer does require an email account set in their customer profile. Business work process settings. When your technicians are using a queue, the business work process settings will control how they start a ticket. We have the monitor in service. This is used when a host directs a customer to the next available technician. The host will place a technician in service. This moves the technician from the queue to the in-service window. That way, the host will know who is available and who is already helping a customer. Monitor in service with next technician. Similar to the first option, but with a slight difference. We'll show you the differences when we show you how to use the system. Just create ticket. When an employee is selected, it will immediately start a ticket. This is usually used when the technicians handle their own tickets. There's no host. Above, we have the email settings. In the email notification, this is where we configure the email account we're using. You can use a paid email service or use Google Gmail or Yahoo Mail, which are free email accounts. But keep in mind that Gmail and Yahoo Mail limit the number of emails you can send in an hour and in a day. Enter the SMTP server address. This is the email server address. Enter the full email address as the username. Enter the user account password. Leave the port number at 587. For the from address, enter the full email address again. In the to address, this is where you want to send email notifications such as the daily total sales. You can add a carbon copy or a blind carbon copy email address. For tech support, if you're using Pay First, leave it at the Pay First Support 1. If you have any bugs or issues and it pops up an error message, this is the email address it will send the report to. The batch out time, this is when it will try to batch out the credit card transactions. The total sale time, this is when it will attempt to email the daily total sales to the address listed in the to address field. The backup time, this is when it will try to back up the database. Now, with the batch out time, total sale time, and backup time, the only way these work is if the system is on and online. And once you configure the email address account settings, you can test it out by hitting the send email. It will send a test email to the to address. When you're configuring Gmail, the Gmail server address is smtp.gmail.com. The username is the full Gmail account address. Use your Gmail account password. And the SMTP port should remain 587. Now, when using Gmail, log onto your Gmail account in a web browser. After you log in, go to the web address listed here, which is google.com/accounts/display unlock captcha. Follow the prompts in this web page to enable Gmail for use with the Pay for Salon software. You can also use Yahoo. The Yahoo email server address is smtp.mail.yahoo.com. Again, use your full Yahoo email account as the username. Use your Yahoo email account password, and the port should remain 587. Once again, I would like to say that if you're using Gmail or Yahoo, they do limit you to 500 emails per day. And by that, if you have one email that is sent to 50 people, that's considered 50 emails. You would only have 450 left. We do recommend using a paid email service. Go to the General Information tab. Print employee sales on clockout. If this is checked, it will automatically print the sales for each employee when they clock out. Convert UPC code. This is barcode related. You can turn this on or off for a new salon. What this will do is automatically convert UPC-E barcodes to the UPC-A format if this is checked. Allow manual entry for gift cards. If this is not checked, that means you must swipe or scan a gift card. If this is checked, it will allow you to manually type in the gift card number when running a gift card transaction. Next, we have some logon settings. So, enforce logon when out of turn. If this is checked, it will ask for a manager password if a technician starts a ticket and they're not the next technician in line on the queue. Enforce logon for fast sale. If this is checked, that means anyone who starts a fast sale will be required to enter their password, and the user password that is entered must have the fast sale ability enabled. Enforce logon for appointment. This is similar to enforce logon for fast sale, but this one is for enforcing the logon when making an appointment. So if this is checked, that means you will be required to enter your password before you can start or create an appointment. Enforce logon for move queue. So if you try to reorder the salon queue, meaning you move people up and down on the queue, if this is checked, it will require a password to do that. If this is not checked, you can just go ahead and do that. Now, when we showed you how to create an employee profile, we showed you the default logon settings. That's what the enforce logon for fast sale, for appointment, and for move queue does. So, with the enforce logon for fast sale, if this is checked, then obviously you need to enter your password before you can start a fast sale ticket. It will use the name of whoever entered their password. If this is not checked, then it will use the name of whoever is the default. Allow appointment prior to current time. What this does is allow you to make appointments earlier in the day. So let's say, for example, this is 3 p.m. during the afternoon, and you want to make an appointment for 1 p.m. today. If this is not checked, it will not allow you to do that. If this is checked, it will allow you to do that. Allow multiple tickets for technician. This usually comes into effect when a technician has an appointment, but they already started a ticket with a walk-in customer. So they want to go ahead and put the appointment in service. That way they'll have multiple tickets. Auto batch pre-auth transactions. This should remain checked. When this is checked, if you settle the batch at night, this will capture any transactions that are pre-authorized but not captured. Then batch out the transactions. Allow batch with forced transactions. This should remain unchecked. If this is unchecked and you have forced transactions that are not processed, it will not allow you to batch out. Hide tip line. Some salons do not allow credit card tips, so we can hide the tip lines. That way the customer doesn't enter the credit card tips on the signature slip. Show price on menu. With this function, we can show the price on the menu or not show the price on menu. We're inside a ticket. And with the show price on menu, you can see on the bottom right corner of each service, you see the price. Here we have the show price on menu turned off. If you look on the bottom right corner of each menu button, the price is no longer showing. And let's go back to the company profile. Appointment does not count towards queue. For the queue management, we can set it so that appointments do not count towards the queue management. So if I'm first in line on the queue and I take an appointment, when I'm done with the appointment, I'm still going to be first in line on the queue. Enable supply charge. We can enable or disable supply charges, which is an expense the owner passes on to the technicians for performing a service. This will use the supply charge matrix. So you can see in level 1, from $25 to $50, we have a charge of $1. That means that when a technician performs a service and it falls between $25 and $50, there will be a $1 charge to the technician. From 51 to 200, we have a charge of $2. And we can have up to 5 levels. Now, one thing you'll notice, if the charge is below $25, there will be no supply charge. If the service is above $200, there will be no supply charge. Enable second waiting list. We have a waiting list function, and we actually have 2 different waiting lists that we can keep. You can enable or disable the second waiting list. Now with the waiting list, we can also have that showing on a customer display if they have one. Print after batch out. So after they batch out, it will print a report. Auto email birthday. This turns on the auto email birthday function. That means that if the customer has an email address entered and they have a birthday entered, it will email a birthday wish to them. Auto email appointment reminder. This will email an appointment reminder to any customers who have an appointment and they have an email address set in their customer profile. Auto batch out. This turns on the auto batch out function. Remember that in the email settings, we can set a time for the auto batch out. Auto email total sale, same thing. This turns on the function to email the total sales numbers during the time specified in the email account settings. And the auto backup. Again, this will automatically back up the database using the time specified in the email account settings. Tax rate. We can set a tax rate for retail products, for services, and for packages. In general, only retail products are taxed. Services and packages are usually not taxed. Now we have 2 different rates for the tax. So rate 1 will add to rate 2, and that's your tax. So if we change rate 2 to 1, that means that for retail products, it will actually tax by 8%, 7 plus 1. We can turn them on or off by checking the box. So retail products are taxed. Now because service and packages are not checked, they will not be taxed. Tip guide. If they need a tip guide, this is where you set the percentages. You can set up to 3 different percentages. Calculate commission on. This is where you choose the default settings. for calculating commission when applying a discount. You can set it so that it defaults to calculate commission on the discounted price or to calculate commission on the original non-discounted price. Member card and gift card. This is where we can set the method for entering a gift card. You can set it so that it swipes on the credit card swiper or to scan using a barcode, and you can set it differently for the member card or the gift card. We're going to go to the gift and loyalty program tab. This is where you set the gift card and loyalty program settings. We're going to skip this. We'll talk about this in more detail when we show you how to set up a gift card program and also a loyalty card program. Menu button layout. This is not required for setup, so we're going to skip this as well. You can look at the manual for more information on what this does. The POS theme, we're going to skip this as well. Similar to the menu buttons layout, this is not required for setting up. The wallpaper tab, this is where we can change the theme for the point of sale system. We have several preset themes. Now before we choose a theme, we're going to actually go to the main screen and show you some of the screens. So this is the main screen. You can see the queue window and the in-service window. And if we were to start a ticket, you can see the ticket window. Let's go back to the company profile. We're back in the company profile and we're going to choose a theme. So we've chosen a theme and we're going to save it, and then we're going to go back to the main screen. We're back in the Salon. Now you notice that when we change the theme, the queue window and the in-service window has changed. If we start a ticket, you can see the ticket window has changed as well. Let's go back to the company profile. We're back in the company profile. You can actually choose your own pictures for the queue window, the in-service window, and the ticket window. Select the theme. After you select the theme, select the window you want to change. We're going to make sure we select the queue. Click on wallpaper and then search for the picture you want to use as the wallpaper. Change the other windows as needed. After that, you can choose the fade level. You can also choose whether to use the original color or a bluish tint. We're going to choose the original colors. After you make all the changes and save it, if you exit the point of sale system and come back in, it'll use the new pictures. So we're just going to change the queue window and we'll show you how that looks. We're back on the main screen, and as you can see, the queue window has been changed with the new picture we selected. And again, you can change the in-service window as well, and also the ticket window. So that's how you configure the company profile.